What is success? Defining success is a difficult and elusive task. It seems that a lot of emphasis today is placed on standardized testing as academic success. Academic achievement has been defined and measured in different ways. Most schools simply monitor students' performance in standardized tests. Others prefer to define it based on performance of real-life tasks. Communities rely on these scores to judge the quality of their educational systems, and state and federal lawmakers use these same metrics to determine whether public schools are up to par. So who makes the decisions about standardized tests? The government, under the No Child Left Behind Act. The No Child Left Behind supports standard-based education reform based on the premises that setting high standards and establishing measurable goals can improve individual outcomes in education. The Act requires students to develop assessment and basic skills. States must give these assessments to all students at select grade levels in order to receive federal school funding. Although provisions have been made, our students are still having to be tested. Notice here how often students in 3rd grade have to be tested in Gwinnett County. In September, they take the COGAT test. They turn right around and in October, take the Iowa test of basic skills. After a short break, in March, they are required to take the Georgia Writing Evaluation, and then in April, the CRCT. Children's cultural experiences and understanding of literacy and education are sometimes a mismatch to the school and teachers' ways and beliefs. Based on these aspects of standardized testing, what counts as literacy? Who counts as literate? Those who score high enough to reach a set range of scores, of course. While it is well established that what constitutes literacy differs from one context to another, the tests treat literacy as a neutral, mechanical skill unrelated to different communities and cultural and linguistic traditions. They assume that all individuals perceive information and solve problems the same way. Test results may therefore reflect differing styles, not differing abilities. By the same token, they tend to place superior value on one set of cultural assumptions over another. Should America and America's classrooms be bilingual, or should public interactions take place in English and everyone need to learn English? Standardized testing is given in English Standard Language. Historically, ELLs have not been included in high-stakes standardized tests. This practice has resulted in a lack of accountability for academic progress of ELLs. With ELLs not being held to the same high academic standards as their peers, consequently, ELLs have not benefited from the educational reforms that followed the implementation of high-stakes assessment. As a result, children have been categorized as being illiterate and as failing at school due to deficits in their cultural and in their cognition. People who argue for standardized testing say you can't know where you're going unless you know where you are. Let's look at some pros of standardized testing. Those who argued against standardized testing claim that teachers begin teaching to the test simply to raise scores. In addition, skills such as teamwork, collaboration, and moral character traits are not measured in typical standardized testing. They claim that it is more important now to have these characteristics because businesses are always looking for employees with people skills and the ability to get along well with co-workers. Let's take a look at some cons of standardized testing. So what are some alternatives to standardized tests? Many states are incorporating performance-based assessments into their standardized tests, or adding assessment vehicles such as student portfolios and presentation as additional measures of student understanding. These rigorous, multiple forms of assessment require students to apply what they're learning to real-world tasks. These include standards-based projects and assignments that require students to apply their knowledge and skills. With these formative and summative types of assessment come the ability to give students immediate feedback. They also allow teachers to immediately intervene to change course when assessments show that a particular lesson or strategy isn't working for a student, or to offer new challenges for students who've mastered a concept or skill. If we continue to use standardized tests, we should do as much as possible to make them less damaging to our children, like making sure that tests aren't timed and don't include multiple choice questions, making sure that the result of such tests are not norm referenced. Also, we should look at how frequently the tests are given. Tests don't have to play such a huge role in our schools. They can be used infrequently as means of obtaining some basic but limited information. There is no doubt that our nation is in need of education reform with the changing demographics of our country, but can we really measure literacy? In America, there is such a diverse group of people. Can we really compare our country to others? There are so many people with different perspectives, values, and beliefs. Can we put all that into one test? If standardized testing is not the answer, then what is? How do we define success in education?